and just letting people know that we're here. Okay,
Okay.
so let's do that. Okay, and we're live here. So, good morning, everybody. This is Brian Cummings with the E-commerce Business School. This is our Saturday morning live, and I'm here with Tim Summers. Just say hi, Tim.
Hey, how's it going, Brian? Everybody?
We're going to give a few moments here to let a couple people roll in and get it warmed up, and then we'll officially launch our Saturday morning live. So I can see Judith and Debbie are both with us this morning. Good morning. And Tim, you're even watching on the other screen. I can
Yeah,
tell
so kind
that.
of watch what we're doing here.
And Rill is here and Lisa's here. Good morning, everybody. Okay, yeah. So sound check. You can hear us okay, both of us? Let us know,
Hello, can
please.
you hear me?
And Judy's here. Yeah, video and audio, great. Okay, let's start this call here. And I will change. There we go. That's what I want. Great. So, good morning again. This is Saturday Morning Live with the E-commerce Business School. We do this every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. CT, and we like to bring you, well, members of our community. We'd like to bring you the latest strategies, tips. Last couple of weeks, we've been looking at book flipping, and yeah, mostly book flipping of the last couple of weeks with two other members. This is a little different this morning. This is Tim Summers. Let me change the screen again. Tim, you're a fairly recent member to the E-commerce Business School, about 4 months, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think February officially I started, but I went through the courses, so it took a little time to take some action. But
And you've been in e-commerce for a while.
yeah, I actually started a Shopify store and a brand early last year, and had that rolling, and then kind of stumbled into you guys and have taken it to another level.
But how long altogether have you been? Well, is that e-commerce new to you? You were doing something else. You've got Bazaar Marketing and a few other things.
Yes. So e-commerce is relatively new, the past year and a half, and so I've owned Bazaar Marketing for 30 years this October, and
Okay,
that's what I've been doing, for 30 years, and that was typically promotional products, reprint people's logos, and marketing for clients. So,
great. So Tim's a consummate entrepreneur, and why I wanted him on our Saturday morning live this morning was to talk about how does he do it all. How does he balance this? How does he move his business forward, especially with print on demand? But not only that, you're doing retail arbitrage, maybe even flipping some books. I'm not certain about that. Also, online arbitrage. You're doing it all, and yet you're on our group pages, our support pages, our community pages, helping and giving and sharing. And I know you have the real heart of an entrepreneur. So that's why I wanted Tim on, everybody, today. Let's see here. We'll go through our beginning slides. We have a lot of new members this week in our Facebook group and our community. So I want to welcome all of you. If this is your first time watching a Saturday morning live, I hope you'll get a lot out of it today. Now, please post questions as we talk. You can post them on the page, and we'll be monitoring those questions and answering questions. So feel free to ask away. Okay. We also have another event coming up, our Trifecta event. Now, the Trifecta is 3 workshops all in one weekend. It's our Shop Your Way to Wealth, which is retail arbitrage, our online shopping profit system, which is all about online arbitrage, as well as hiring a VA or a virtual assistant, and then our book flipping profit system. So these are what we call cash flow courses, meaning that they're meant to quickly develop cash flow into your business. And I know Tim's doing a little bit of that, and I wanted to mention the Trifecta coming up July, let's see, it's 20th through 18th through 20th, I believe. It's a Friday through Sunday. Okay, so Tim, I'm showing a picture of you and looks like your wife and your daughters, along with a t-shirt that says Dogs, Beer, America, and Life is Brutiful. Want to talk a little bit about your family and then your business?
absolutely, I appreciate that. So I have 3 daughters. Ashley's 27, Holly's 24, and Katie, the youngest, is 23. So one of them actually lives in Florida, and the other two live here in Michigan with me. And yeah, so I everybody thinks I started this beer brand, and I'm not really. I'm a beer drinker, but very limited. I would prefer a tropical drink over a beer. And someone asked me last time I was on with you why I started the beer brand, and it was just basically I was doing research on, dogs, beer, and kids kept coming up as the top ones, and I just thought, oh, it'll be fun to do some beer. There's a lot of fun stuff you could do with it. So that's kind of where I took my brand into the POD world as a beer niche. So
Great. And you've combined dogs with that.
yeah, I just thought they go together. There's a lot of wine and dogs and beer and dogs, and it just I've read a lot about when you put two niches together, it kind of it really goes hand in hand. So got a lot of combo designs like that.
Well, I might be your typical customer because I do like beer, like dark brews, and I have 4 dogs, so I kind of get it.
Yeah, it's good.
Since you've come into our community, oh, here's your website that you've been working on, crazyforbeer.com. Now, you've developed this before you came into our community. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. So I started that probably early 2018, and was putting that all together, and having a bunch of designs and trying to build that and learn that, and basically was just selling it on Facebook ads and Instagram ads. Had no idea that Amazon would even be an option until I came into the EBS world, and just was mind blown how the sales I've gotten are more than doubled in the short time I've been doing it with learning from you guys. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, let me show a couple of posts that you've made. Now, you post a lot, super helpful tips and your latest strategies, and also just affirming your progress and other people's progress. I know up here, and it may be a little small for people to read. This was a post that you made at the end of the May. $1,000 in sales was my goal for May, my first official month for print on demand and for retail arbitrage on Amazon. Fell a bit short, but still super stoked and can't thank everyone at EBS enough. I mean, you're posting things like that to affirm your progress and others all the time.
Yeah, I think it helps new people. It helped me the first couple months when I was just, taking the courses and learning and watching all the activity going on. And I just felt like, wow, that's encouraging to know that, most people had no experience in this whatsoever, no business experience, some people, and they were just, pulling in $1,000 a month really quickly. And I just thought, wow, it's encouraging. So I just felt the same, like I got to do this for the new people as well, so they can see, I had no experience in retail arbitrage or Amazon at all. And the first month, $800, I thought that was phenomenal. So
And you've just about doubled that in June. Is that correct?
yeah. I looked this morning and I was like, wow, I'm gonna be pretty close to double that. Hopefully, we got another day here or so. So it's yeah, just crazy.
You're having fun.
Yeah, it is. It's really exciting. I was telling you before we went live here, it's like I've been a business owner 30 years. When I first started, though, those first 5 years, you're so excited and everything's just the momentum's there, and then you get going. And I've been doing it for a long time, and I don't hate the business. It's not a grind. It's not a grind. I still love it, but the excitement of this is just takes me back 30 years when I first started, because just the opportunities I see and the fun. It's just amazing fun.
So you bring 30 years worth of experience. And I know I do too, but you just mentioned a moment ago that there's a lot of our members that are brand new. They've never owned a business before and they're having success doing this.
Right.
And then what I see are posts like, how do you manage it all? And you posted something that was really helpful in just recently about, yeah, I've been doing this for 30 years and now I'm doing retail arbitrage and I want to hire a VA. How do you find balance and how do you keep it positive?
Yeah, I guess I'm one of those fortunate ones. It comes from my grandfather. He used to only sleep 4 hours his whole life a night. I sleep probably 5, maybe 6, and I've done that, for the longest time. And I set an alarm clock 7 days a week. Must be going vacation, 7. I don't, but I'm up, 5 or 6 o'clock Saturday, Sunday, every day. And I get up and I'm so excited to do all this. But I think the reason I did the early hours too is when my kids were little, I didn't want to take any time away from, family time. I would quit working at 5 and be family time. And then, after they went to bed, do some more and then be back up at it. But I just think, it's having task lists. I make a list every day almost, not every day, almost every day. Sometimes the list carries over, but and just going through that list of here's what I got to get done today. And it's just organization and dedication to, getting that stuff done. I've known a couple of my friends that started businesses and they worked from home and they were watching Ellen and Oprah. And I'm like, you can't do that. Or somebody calls you, hey, let's go play golf at noon. I say no, just last night I had a couple of friends, it's Friday night and they were going up to the pub and I was walking around Walmart just going, no, this is, picking up some stuff that was, to replenish that I had, but I was also just scanning stuff at 10 o'clock at night on a Friday. So I could say I have no life, but I enjoy it. So, and I think that's what it boils down to is just, you've got to love it. If you don't, then, you're going to struggle with anything you do, a job or a business. So,
Yeah, you do have to love it, and I know what that's like to put in that time. That we call it the grind,
mhm.
and that's you don't experience it as a grind, though, do you?
No, not at all. I've never like once gotten up or I got to go sit behind the computer. I got to do this or I got to meet with a customer. And it's to me, it's been, I just remember being an employee. I was always a bad employee. I say it to myself. So it's like, do you want to go back to that or do you want to like have fun? And that's where I take every moment of every day is having fun with everything I do. And I'm kind of goofy and silly. I try not to do that too much online, but in my own head, I am. So
So you want to scale. We're talking about the grind,
right.
getting up early and getting to it. Yet, what I found is that my business operates almost on autopilot. I do have to attend to it, but I don't
Mhm.
have to do the grind anymore
Right.
because of scale. And that's been hiring people and implementing systems that have made the difference.
Yeah, that's where I see my next level going with, learning from you and, people like Josie that have, a really good system going. So years ago, before 2007, I used to have 6 employees in a building and we did our embroidery and screen printing and all that stuff in house. The employees were great. It gave me a chance to do other things and not do the day-to-day
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So that's where I see the next level of this going is, you know, you can only do so much yourself. I'm putting up a few designs, I'm buying stuff, I'm listing it, but to take it to another level, I learned from you guys that you've got to get some help and get a VA in there. So that's where I'm learning and excited about that part to really take it to another, level.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I'm rooting for you. I know
Thank you.
that you have access or you've studied our courses, the Shop Your Way to Wealth, and the online shopping profit system, where we teach people how to hire VAs.
Yes.
So you ready to do that now?
Yeah, I definitely am. It's one of those things I was, still trying to put some checks and balances in place, getting the right POD vendor and just trying to feel like I have everything in my mind, like, okay, I've got a good system myself. Now I can show this to someone else and be confident that all the things behind that are working. So I'm right there now and I want to run through that, the few things in the course once again. I think I've already done it twice, but just go there once again and then, you know, I know you're available and I reach out to you often and just, keep listening and learning. And I'm hoping, in the next 2 months to have somebody locked into that part.
So how many tasks or what kind of tasks do you to have them do for you?
So it would be on the POD level is creating the designs, using the flat files to upload the designs and make the listings on Amazon as well as the Shopify store. So I'm going to create both of those at the same time.
Okay.
And then just monitoring that and monitoring the orders and that. And so to me, I just want to keep learning new things and go, okay, this is the design. I did the research. I like doing the research on the designs and go, okay, now we need to make this design, get it listed, posted, and go from there
Mm-hmm.
and do
How
the
about
advertising.
how about
Sorry.
online arbitrage? You're going to have them do any of that?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just starting doing that myself the past 2 months. So I'm having fun doing it. So it's one of those things when you're having fun doing it, it's like, oh, I want to keep doing it, but I know I've got to like pass that off to let someone to scale. So I see the POD part first, and then maybe a separate VA for the others. I guess I got to learn from you guys as well, but it's kind of two different worlds. Maybe you can have one VA do both. I'm not sure your thoughts
If
on
you
that.
find the right person.
Yeah.
Sometimes that works out. You find somebody that's skilled, or you just find somebody that is a consummate learner, kind of like you and me,
Okay.
and then you can train them up to do that.
Yeah. But that's why I envision two separate ones, I think, and so that would probably be later in the year for the retail arbitrage VA.
I see some comments here. Susan is saying, like to get it done list, like the got to get it done today list. Yes, gotta
Right.
love it. And good to
Yeah,
get up
if
early
you
and
don't
get
have a
into it.
list, you don't know where you're going. It's you can kind of sit there and just flounder around, going, yeah. But if you have a list, and I can't remember which one of the big entrepreneurs, I think it was the guy that owns Virgin. I learned that from him. He's like every day he has a list, and he just goes through that. So and knows he has accomplished all these things. So very important.
Awesome. So, anybody else have questions for Tim? Anything at all that you'd like to ask him? Here's somebody that's got 30 years of business experience and a lot of solo entrepreneurial experience.
Yeah, absolutely. When I first started, it was just me, and then we got to a level where I had a building and had 6 employees, and then world kind of fell apart in 2007, and had to downsize and back to me. And I do have a few people that do some graphics and video editing because we do that for some clients. So that takes that part off of me, but they're kind of freelancers and just on call when needed.
Yeah.
But pretty much me for the most part of everything.
I have a similar background, different business, but mine fell apart too at about that same time period.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
tough, wasn't it?
it was very tough. It was the hardest, thing I've gone through. We used to do, and I'm not saying for bragging at stuff, but over $1 million in sales in promotional products, embroidery and screen printing, really consistently. And it just, I live in Michigan, and we had a lot of big three vendors and customers that would sell to the big three, and they all just went away. So it was a tough time. I think over 500,000 businesses went under in Michigan in that year, and
Oh,
just happy to survive. Just kind of clawed our way through there. Did have to go through bankruptcy, all that stuff. It was a time of I know a lot of people go through it, but survived. I toyed with do I get a job, but there wasn't a lot of jobs then either. So but came out. So
well, I'm glad you're not dependent upon the local economy anymore. Not with this
yeah,
business.
that's what's exciting about this is like it's almost international. I know it is, but selling stuff, looking at orders going all over the country is just so exciting, and you don't have to worry about what's in your backyard or what's happening locally.
Okay, all right. Anything else you'd like to add, Tim?
No, I just want to encourage people to, whether if you haven't joined yet EBS, I've been in so many different groups, and I'm not getting paid to say this. I've been in so many different groups where you buy the course and then you don't see or hear from anybody. The training and the support here is just amazing. What Anne and you, Brian, and everybody else have put together is just priceless. And the other members, I think of Candida and Marcia and those ladies just always, putting stuff out there themselves. I'm thinking, how do everybody run their business? But I know I do it as well. So you have to take the time to do it. So just dive in and get in there. And I think you can, take this to levels, whatever you want to take it to. You can do it slow, part-time, or go dig in. It's just an amazing group of people that are here, like-minded ones for sure. So I couldn't be more excited.
We do have an amazing community. I mean, the posts that I'm showing here on this screen of yours, where you've got some tips, check out the free online remove the background image tool, and you did a little video on it. My mug review of Print Tech, Printful, and T-Launch, another great video. You're not the only person doing those. We have other community members, and it's not like you're getting paid. There isn't any
No.
incentive for you to do this other than just to give back.
Exactly. That's what I feel. When someone gives me a tip that was like, oh my gosh, you've saved me time and money, that when something comes across my desk or my head that like, oh, I got to share this with the group because, it'll help somebody else. So it's just, I just think everybody has that same mentality. It's just, I've never been in a community like this before. That's selfless, it's just amazing.
We seem to attract this community. You know,
Yeah,
like attracts like. I don't know if you've heard that term before, but
absolutely.
members like yourself, it makes it a joy for the staff and the coaches here in the
Mhm.
e-commerce business school to work with everybody because you guys are also amazing.
Right. It is. I got goosebumps actually. It's crazy. You think, been in business 30 years, you're in business, whatever. But it's so exciting to be in this world. So thanks so much for all you do, Brian. I know you try to run your business, but you give so much to the group as well.
Well, this is my love. I mean, I love my business, but I love this too. Let me read some comments here from people right now. Susan is saying, thank you. Very motivating. Shop your way to wealth. Print on demand, creating designs and online arbitrage. She agrees.
Yes.
Debbie is saying she couldn't agree more. Dan is saying, we like the print on demand products you showed today. So make sure you check more of those out, Dad. Jeanette is saying, I agree. Great support with our community. Sharon Safford, now Sharon's a longtime member of the e-commerce business school, and
Mhm.
she can be very procedural. So she says, I have a list, but there's so much I have to do that I can't get it all done. Well, yes, that's the way it is for all of us.
That's
Uh,
all of
but
us.
but sometimes there is that frustration. I can't do it. What suggestions do you have to get through that overwhelmed feeling?
Yeah, I get that often as well. So sometimes I've taken tasks that, I've got many on there that I can try to, outsource them. So that's where it comes into doing, some of the video editing and things like that in my regular day-to-day business. So I just think that you can't get overwhelmed. You've got to, and it's frustrating. I wish I had, 20 more designs up because the ones once I get one up, it's, a sale pops in a day or two and it's like so exciting. Like wish I could 20, 25 more up. So I think it's just, setting those little steps of like, all right, I'm going to get 5 designs a week out and it doesn't get overwhelming then because it's doable. And then if you hit those 5, you're like, wow, maybe next week I can get 6 designs out and not trying to put too much pressure on yourself, to say, oh, I got to get 25 out. Because that's in my head. I really want 25 a month, I think is if I'm doing it myself. Once
Mm-hmm.
I get it, I think that'll explode more. But at first I was thinking, man, 25 is a lot. Then I just chunked it down to like, okay, 5 a week. And it just, to me, that it's not overwhelming as saying 25 if you break it down a little less. That's just my take on it.
Yep. So increments,
Mm-hmm.
small bite-sized increments.
Yep.
Yeah. Susan is asking, was it hard starting working alone as an entrepreneur and keeping the motivation in the beginning versus connecting business with people every day? Not sure I know that last part, but was it hard starting working alone as an entrepreneur and keeping the motivation in the beginning?
I guess not. For me, I was very motivated, from youth. I remember having a paper route and always thinking, gosh, if I had 2 paper routes, can I hire someone to do that? And I,
Why?
why?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just always, I'm one of those guys that I always thinking, and I'm not trying to, I don't want to be a millionaire. I mean, I say that, but I just like to enjoy numbers. I enjoy doing stuff like that. I remember going to concerts and going, oh, Rod Stewart's playing. There's 30,000 people here and they all paid $50 a piece. He just made $1 million. So to me, I love those numbers and that kind of stuff. I love hearing success stories when you share about one of your mugs that's, doing, all kinds of sales. But to get lonely, I just never got that way. I guess, when I started the business, I was married and had companionship there. And, there was no, living alone kind of thing. And then you had kids and my parents were always involved in my business. So I've never felt lonely at all. I always went to networking events to get out and talk to other entrepreneurs and still do that
Mm-hmm.
to this day. So I never had that experience. Unfortunately, I can't give you any good advice other than if you are lonely, get out to go to networking events. They're all over the place. There's a lot of free ones.
And we have a lot of connection offered here in
Yeah, I mean,
e-commerce business school.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know in a heartbeat, if someone wants to chat, we can get on a Zoom and talk or, FaceTime or something. I would more than open to do that and get
Tim,
you over
are
that.
Are you in a peer group here?
I'm not, and that's I was talking to Judith actually about peer groups and some of the groups that she's in. So that's something I definitely need to do soon here.
Well, you're in our e-commerce masters program.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, that well, a peer mastermind group is part of being an e-commerce masters
okay.
program. And I actually didn't realize that you weren't in a peer group.
No, no, I have not done that, so I need to for sure.
Okay, well, please, yeah, contact Sharon. In fact, I'll give Sharon's contact information here in just a moment.
Okay,
Contact her. There's actually a
great,
little form that we have you fill out that matches you up to either an existing group or a new group.
excellent. Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Real is asking, did you sell many different products the first month when you made that $800? Or did you find one that was profitable that you could replenish?
Yes, so the first month I did, it was mostly clearance items, and it was about 10 different ones. And then a couple of those sales were some POD items. But the mix was about 80% were of those 10, 12 different items. Now this month I've got about 30 different items that are mostly replenishable. And that's where I've seen the sales double because I've expanded the amount of items.
So you're specifically looking for more replenishable items then.
Yeah, I think so, and that's where I've taken the online part of it because it just
Mm-hmm.
seems a little easier for me time wise because I feel like sometimes I've stretched too long, but like I said last night I was still in Walmart scanning stuff, so um,
Okay. Okay. So online arbitrage is kind of where you're seeing that future in
yeah, I
your.
just that's where
Yeah.
I've gotten the a little more jump and getting more items I think in this last month.
Jenna is saying 2007 through 2010 hurt a lot of people. She's still feeling the effects herself. So
Yeah.
she's thankful for the opportunity to go into business and not be reliant on a job, on a job.
Yes, I have a lot of friends that had jobs that lost their job at that same time when my business was struggling. So it was tough for everyone.
It was. Debbie's saying we started with flipping books. Then, starting June 2nd, we shipped our first retail arbitrage shipment in. As of this morning, we've had over $1,340 in paid sales, not including the
Awesome.
pending or the 3 or 4 canceled sales. Congratulations, Debbie. That's
Oh my
great.
gosh, that's great. Congrats. Very well done.
Frank is saying, thanks again for the inspiration, Tim. I am also doing most of the work myself at the outset before I can scale. Good to see success stories following this path.
Excellent. Excellent. You're welcome.
Sonia is saying, laugh out loud, the concert thing, adding up the numbers. I do that all the time.
I know. I'm like, oh man, my head.
Nancy's asking about the peer groups. Where do you get more info? Nancy, they're for our e commerce master's program level. And I'll give you a link at the end of this slide here where you can contact Sharon to learn more about that. And Real is saying she's excited to finally get started with Shop Your Way to Wealth. Tim, where do you get your outsourcing? Asks Susan. Agree, list is a must, but the must to do today is the key to drive and stay focused. Where do you get your outsourcing?
So I've been using, and actually before I joined with you guys, I've been using Upwork. So I would post a job there or go through, here's the settings that I want and send it out there. So it's worked really well for me. Um, Gotten people that are in, a video editing niche or creating social media content. So that's, very low cost. Then you can do it by project. So that's where I've gotten all of mine.
Yes, yes. And many of my hires have come through Upwork as well. And we teach how to hire
Yeah,
through Upwork here.
right. You've got a great training on that I did take and let's watch you do. So it even taught me more than I already knew about it. So very good.
Cool. Thank you. Jeanette is asking for an example of a replenishable item.
Example of replenishable item. So I got Twizzlers candies is one that I did. It's a little bag of Twizzlers, and I think it ranks about 150,000. So that's in the grocery section. It's in the I can't remember if that's 1% or the 5% realm. So it's regularly priced at I think Target I got it the cheapest for, and it's on you can buy it off their website for the same price or you can go in the store and buy it. So that would be one that I found that got lucky on and it's been a good one. I'm actually keep running out. I only send in a few at a time, and because I was hesitant to send in, you just I always kind of feel like I want to test a few things instead of sending in 50 of something, and I've been sending them in at 6 at a time, and it seems like as soon as they hit, they're gone in a couple days. So
It's fun, isn't it?
I like it.
Do you have a Trader Joe's in your area?
I don't, but that's been on my radar when I was doing some research.
Mm-hmm.
Some of their stuff has been on there. There's actually one probably about 40 miles north that I should probably take a trip out there.
There's a lot of dyed-in-the-wool Trader Joe's shoppers. And then they move to an area where they don't have a Trader Joe's. And so they go online, including Amazon, to buy them. I used to find a lot of replenishables there.
Okay.
Nizar is asking, I'm new. I want to learn more about creating my store where I will not handle shipping. Can I get help? Yes, you can. We've been talking about print on demand. That's one way that you can do that. That's where a print on demand company will print your product. All you have to do is create a mock-up or an image of that product. This is what Tim's doing with the t-shirts and the coffee cups. And they will print your product and ship it out to the customer. You don't have to touch inventory at all. Judith is saying, let's see. Oh, and Susan is saying, is it okay to ask what Tim is selling? I think he just gave you one item there. Did you, in general, because I don't ever like to give away my sources because people say, oh, that's profitable. I'll go out and buy it myself and sell it. In general, do you favor grocery? Do you favor one thing over another?
So I have a mix. I was just looking at it because I wasn't sure if that question was going to come up. So I was looking at my mix. So I have probably half a dozen grocery items, another half a dozen electronics, and I have some, I can't think of the name of it. It's it's a seasonal, lawn kind of stuff. And I don't know what department that is now. I can't remember what it is, but so that, and then the POD items on there as well. So the clothing stuff. And so that's kind of it. Electronics, grocery, and the lawn things are kind of seasonal. So I'm sure I didn't buy very many of those. They'll be gone, here in the summer. So that's kind of the two that I focused on, electronics and that, just because it's kind of funny how I found some of this stuff is come back from the grocery store and start scanning my own stuff going, oh, wow. And one, if you can get ungated in McCormick's, their seasoning, I cannot get ungated yet. Those are, try if you can, because that's one of the ones that I found that, gosh, I wish I could get ungated in that, because they, the rank is like 5,000 and they sell thousands of all the different flavors.
I have a tip for you there.
Okay.
Where you might find a source, the actual supplier that provides that, and I'll share that with you in one of our support calls or check and adjust calls. Okay.
Okay. Excellent.
All right. Let's see. There were lots of other comments here. People saying like Upwork for sourcing and Trader Joe's is the best. Yeah. Okay. I had one other thing on my mind. Well, that's gone now. We've been talking about so many things here. Any other questions? Go ahead and type them in the box, but we'll go ahead and move forward with this. I want to say thank you, everybody, for being here on Saturday Morning Live. Come back next week. I know Coach Kurt and Ann Sieg will be on our Saturday Morning Live with EBS member Candida. And let's see here. If you want to learn more about Trifecta, just go to ebstrifecta.com. Remember, that's our 3 days of workshops with Shop Your Way to Wealth, Online Shopping Profit System, and the Book Flipping Profit System. So check that out. Tim, I know you wanted to be there. You have a wedding that weekend.
Yeah, I wish I could. I just came in when you guys did the last one. I just missed that one. So hopefully the next one for sure. I definitely want to be there. I think those are so important. I've been to many kind of events like that and can't wait to shake your hand for sure.
Yeah, we haven't met in person yet.
No.
That'll happen. That'll happen. Okay. Here's Sharon Ann Irwin. So she's one of our business advisors, and you can reach her at e-commerce business school advisor. Nizar, you're asking where do you find more information? contact Sharon and ask her. A couple of people were saying, where do I find more about the e-commerce masters program? Contact Sharon and she can help you out there. Lucinda's asking, what are those 4 symbols on your Brutiful t-shirt?
Oh, that is a, let's see, it's a hops that they make beer with. It is a mug of beer, a drop of water, and wheat. Those are the things that make the main ingredients of beer. So,
Cool. Cool.
yeah.
Okay. Hey, well, again, thank you everybody for being on our call. Love the participation this morning. And thank you again, Tim. It's a pleasure interacting with